Captain, before we step onto this glow and grace island, tell me, what does beautiful make you feel when it means visually lovely, emotionally moving in a pure way, and perfectly done, so good it feels flawless? Meaning 1. Very pleasing to look at, attractive, lovely. Used for things that look gorgeous, people, places, scenes, and designs. Example: Captain, the sky looked beautiful above the silent sea. Common use: beautiful view, beautiful face, beautiful day. Beautiful view. Meaning 2. Very good in a way that feels kind, touching, or inspiring. Used for moments, actions, or ideas that feel emotionally clean and uplifting. Example: It was beautiful how the crew shared the last water without fear. Common use: beautiful moment, beautiful gesture, beautiful idea. Beautiful gesture. Meaning 3. Excellent, perfect, exactly what you want. Used to praise a result as flawless or just right. Example: Beautiful, your timing was perfect, Captain. Common use: beautiful work, beautiful timing, beautiful job. Beautiful timing. Beautiful is most often about looks, but it also describes actions or moments that feel deeply moving. In casual speech, it can even mean excellent or perfect, especially when praising a result. Let the stars approve your next line, Captain. Carry beautiful for what the eyes love, for what the heart lifts, and for results so perfect they deserve a quiet grin as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this beginning and arrival island, tell me, what does birth make you feel when it means being born, the start of something new, and the details that mark where and when a life officially began? Meaning 1. The moment a baby is born, the act of being born. Used for the event of coming into the world. Example: Captain, the ship's doctor recorded the baby's birth before dawn. Common use: give birth, birth date, birth certificate. Birth time. Meaning 2. The origin or beginning of something, an idea, a movement, a project. Used for the start of a new thing. Example: That night marked the birth of their new exploration plan. Common use: the birth of a nation, birth of an idea, give birth to. Birth of a plan. Meaning 3. A person's origin details, place, family background, official record. Used when talking about where someone comes from and how it's recorded. Example: His birth was registered in the port records, so his identity was clear. Common use: of noble birth, birth records, birth registration. Birth register. Birth can mean the literal event of being born, the beginning of something new, or someone's origin details in records and background. Words like certificate or date point to the life event, while birth of often signals a new beginning. Honor every beginning, Captain. Carry birth for life arriving, for new ideas taking their first breath, and for the records that mark where the story started as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this foundation and homeport island, tell me, what does base make you feel when it means the bottom support of something, a main center you operate from, and the starting facts you build your decisions on? Meaning 1. The bottom or foundation that supports something. Used for the lowest part that holds a structure steady. Example. Captain, the lighthouse base was built into solid rock. Common use. The base of a tower. Broad base. At the base. Base, solid. Meaning 2. A main place you work from. A center of operations. Used for the location that supports activities and planning. Example. Orion returned to base to update the navigation charts. Common use. Military base. Base camp. Return to base. Base operations. Meaning 3. To use something as the main reason or starting point, base on. Used when decisions are built from facts, evidence, or information. Example. Captain, we based our route on the latest weather report. Common use. Based on facts. Base a decision on. Base it on evidence. Base it on data. Base can be a physical foundation, a home center you operate from, or the starting point you build decisions on, often with based on. The nearby words usually reveal the meaning fast. Build from what holds, Captain. Carry base for strong foundations, for the place you operate from, and for the facts you base your next move on as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this red cheeks and regret island, tell me, what does ashamed make you feel when it means feeling guilt for something you did, feeling embarrassed in front of others, and feeling sorrow for someone else's situation? Meaning 1. Feeling guilty or sorry because you did something wrong. Used when you regret your own action or choice. Example. Captain, Orion felt ashamed for ignoring the warning signs. Common use. Ashamed of what I did. Deeply ashamed. Feel ashamed. Ashamed of this. Meaning 2. Feeling embarrassed because others might judge you. Used for social embarrassment or, I don't want people to see this. Example. He was ashamed to admit he got lost. Common use. Ashamed to say, ashamed to admit, ashamed to be seen. Ashamed to admit. Meaning 3. feeling sad and sympathetic about someone else's bad situation. Used when you feel sorrow or discomfort about what another person is going through. Example: Captain, I'm ashamed for him. He was treated unfairly. Common use: ashamed for someone. Ashamed at how they were treated. Ashamed on their behalf. Ashamed for him. Ashamed is often about guilt or embarrassment, and it commonly appears with of, ashamed of what I did, and to, ashamed to admit. It can also show sympathetic discomfort about someone else's situation, especially in phrases like ashamed for or ashamed on their behalf. Face the feeling and learn from it, Captain. Carry ashamed for guilt that corrects your course, for embarrassment you can outgrow, and for the empathy that refuses to watch unfairness in silence as we sail to the next island. Captain, before we step onto this dark warning island, tell me, what does atrocity make you feel when it means an extremely cruel act? The kind of brutal acts people remember as historical crimes, and a strong exaggeration for something shockingly bad. Meaning 1. An extremely cruel, violent, or inhuman act. Used for actions that cause deep horror because they are brutally cruel. Example: Captain, the report described an atrocity that left the town in silence. Common use: commit an atrocity, condemn an atrocity, an act of atrocity. Atrocity remembered. Meaning 2. Atrocities, plural. Brutal acts, especially in war or conflict, often discussed in official or historical contexts. Used when speaking about multiple cruel acts as a category of serious crimes. Example: Captain, investigators gathered evidence of atrocities during the conflict. Common use: war atrocities, evidence of atrocities, investigate atrocities. Atrocity evidence. Meaning 3. Something shockingly bad or unacceptable. Used in everyday speech to criticize something as terrible, often hyperbolic. Example: That so-called repair job was an atrocity. Nothing works now. Common use: an absolute atrocity. What an atrocity? Design atrocity. Atrocity, fix it. Atrocity is a heavy word. In serious contexts, it refers to extreme cruelty and often appears in plural, atrocities, when discussing documented crimes. Choose your words with star-level care, Captain. Carry atrocity for the gravest cruelty, for recorded crimes spoken of in plural, and, only with caution, for harsh criticism when something is truly beyond acceptable as we sail to the next island.